Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have more crypto news updates as well as taking a look at the price charts, and let's go ahead and get started with Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index is set at 22, which is extreme fear. Ideally in the next few days we would move up to the fear category, which is a little bit higher than where we're at right now. But keep in mind that the talks between the United States and Iran have not finalized with everything. Donald Trump mentioned earlier that there is a possibility that he could start bombing once again. And of course, that puts everyone on edge. So we're waiting to see how things continue to play out with that. And when we look at what's going on with Bitcoin, it just flipped into the green at $65,667. We have a low point of $64,600 on the day, closed out red yesterday. Volume right now on track to potentially being as much as yesterday or the day before, but nothing substantial at the moment suggesting an even higher level of volume. But there is some important talks that are going on today that very well could have a major impact, and unfortunately it would be more likely than not that it would cause it to go down. So I'm a little bit on edge with this. We'll have to see how that continues to play out, and we'll talk more about that here soon. And we have an entry of a long position suggestion back on June 14th. So with that candle playing out itself, it did end up closing out quite well for the day, basically where we're at right now. Then the next day we had a further climb up, a little bit of a pullback the day afterwards, and where we're at is also coinciding pretty well with where the median line of the Bollinger Band is. So you can see that the Bollinger Band itself is converging more. It's starting to flatten out a bit rather than moving downwards. We're just starting to move a little bit sideways. We'll have to see if that continues. But right now we also have a level of support at $63,250. So if this does end up consolidating a bit, I would expect to see it potentially retapping that zone as we continue moving forward. And then if it wants to climb back up, let's see if we can get above that $67,400 type range that we had back on June 15th. And then if we want to climb even higher, of course, we want to hit 75,000. Well, 70,000, 75,000, and then up here at $78,300. That's the key Fibonacci retracement zone. That's also a line that we saw being rejected several different times back here towards the end of May. Now moving on, DTCC is nearing a live tokenization demonstration using DTC held assets with Ripple Prime involved. Ripple Prime, BlackRock, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, NASDAQ, and DTCC are now sitting at the same table to shape the future of tokenized finance. Zaman Wallet Swap goes live and turns the XRP ledger into a seamless one-tap swap ecosystem. And here we go. This is from Ash Crypto. This is not looking good, boys. The FOMC interest rate decision is coming today, and since July 2025, Bitcoin has gone down after each FOMC meeting. So this is what has me a bit more on edge for today. On July 2025, it went down 5.7%. September of 2025, down 7.4%. October 2025, down 29%. December 2025, down 10.6%. January of 2026, down 33.5%. March 2026, down 12.9%. April 26, down 3.2%. Will this repeat again, or is this time different? Well, I'll just say this. Having it happen every single time is not a good sign. So if you're rolling a dice, it looks like it's much, much more likely than not to go down. But again, right now we're technically seeing just a tiny bit of green, barely any signs of green. So this can change very quickly. Let's just be very real about that. Law Day 330. Today is a day to watch as Kevin Warsh makes his first FOMC press conference. More details. The Fed rate decision lands at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, with rates expected to hold at 3.5% to 3.75%. This means the first market reaction could be muted. The real move may come from Kevin Warsh's first FOMC press conference at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. After hot CPI and PPI, lower oil prices, and inflation still above target, markets will be watching Warsh's tone. The Fed's updated dot plot may matter even more, with 3 officials expected to pencil in rate hikes this year. If the dots shift higher, stocks and crypto could face pressure. No rate move does not mean no market move. In other news, XRP just flipped a major signal. Spot CVD hit a fresh high at $267 million, while perp CVD is sitting at negative $792 million. Spot buyers stacking, leverage shorts piling up. And price already clawed back to $1.21 from its lows. How long you staying on the sidelines? OI, or the open interest, back near $251 million and climbing, squeeze setup loading. There's a crypto exchange called BTCC, and if you guys have not heard of this yet, then maybe you're new to my channels. I don't know. But this has been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage, and there's no VPN or KYC required to get started. And there are bonuses. There's a 10% deposit bonus when you use a referral link. I have mine down in the description below. And that's if you deposit over $500 of USDT. You can get extra bonuses all the way up to $10,055. And if you want to look into this more, or if you're ready to get started, you can find my referral link again down in the description below. And in additional news, the U.S. Senate and House have reached a bipartisan deal on a housing bill that includes a ban on the Federal Reserve issuing a CBDC through 2030, so another 4 years. Oil has fallen below $75 for the first time since early March. WTI crude is now down nearly 38% from its March intraday high above $118. Clarity Act faces its biggest test yet. Lawmakers are facing a narrowing window to finalize the Clarity Act before the White House's July 4th target. The bill would establish clear regulatory boundaries between the SEC and CFTC. After advancing through the Senate Banking Committee, the legislation now faces negotiations over final language and ethics provisions. Supporters argue the bill could end years of regulatory uncertainty and provide a clearer path for crypto companies operating in the U.S. Key lawmakers, including Senator Cynthia Lummis and Senator Tim Scott, remain optimistic that the measure can secure enough support to move forward. 100 million trades daily through the DTCC, soon to be on XRP and XLM. A lot of eyes on these two crypto. RLUSD is gaining ground fast on the XRP ledger and getting close to flipping the Ethereum issued version by market cap as it nears 50-50 in dominance. And more than 720 million XRP flowed off exchanges from June 3rd to the 14th, led by whale withdrawals, according to CryptoQuant data. And ETF flows, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP spot ETFs saw net inflows on June 16th, with Bitcoin at $10.06 million, Ethereum $9.59 million, Solana $245.86 thousand, and XRP $5.3 million. And let's go ahead and take a look at the price movement for XRP. So here we go. Red yesterday, very low volume compared to June 15th. But with that candle yesterday, we do see it was a little bit less than half of the daily volume, the daily price movement, I should say. And for today, right now, we actually had a low point that looks like it bounced very close to where the candle had started on June 15th, which is at $1.18.5. We got just a little bit above that, 1.1867. And as it is right now, it is slightly in the red. Let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's still slightly in the green. So XRP very close to being the same. It's on that verge of not really knowing where it's going to go yet. It's down just 0.17%. Could be slightly in the green. We'd still be saying the same thing right here. That it's on that edge of going one direction or another. The volume itself is about half the volume from yesterday. So more than likely we'll see this play out being close to what we had on June 14th, June 16th. If there's some major news that takes place with the FOMC later today, then it has that possibility of a massive volume spike, potentially dropping down. And if it did drop down, personally, I would be looking at a level closer to around $1.13 or so, because it looks like we were seeing a bit of a pattern formation right around there, including back here on June 9th. So you got June 9th, June 12th, 13th, 14th, each of these days showing a bit of a level of support. And if it drops down even further, I would be keeping an eye on $1.08. We have down here, took place on June 6th at $1.05. Of course, $1 is going to be another key psychological level. And we also have on the day the median line in the Bollinger Band. That's at $1.20. It looks like that was a nice level of support yesterday, although it did fall through just briefly here for the wick on the day today. An entry of a long position on June 15th, still showing signs suggesting of more upside than downside. The Bollinger Band is now starting to constrict a little bit more, so we might see some sideways action as Bitcoin continues to move sideways. And if this has any room to try and wiggle itself up, we're going to keep an eye on $1.25, $1.30, and then of course right here in the Fibonacci retracement zone, $1.40. That's what I got for you guys in today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you also to my Patreon supporters. I'm Crypto Atlas on Patreon, and my YouTube members. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.